Okay. Now, the bottom of the deck, we've got Seven of Arrows. Seven of Arrows is insecurity, anxiety. This is kind of head trip. If you'll look at, there's some kind of energy up here at the top of this person's crown chakra. There's arrows flying in. These look like ghosts and skeletons riding ghost horses. Again, that kind of plays in with the mind playing tricks on you, imagination. For some of you, it may be soundly based in other people, but typically this card indicates that there's something going on in your mind. Anxieties and insecurities about the way that you're thinking or processing your situation. Again, doesn't mean that there's not real stress going on, but it could be that you're playing a role in your emotional distress. It's a very human, very normal thing for us to do, but sometimes we can take the situation and make it even worse by the way we think about it. Arrows is the suit of air. So anytime you're dealing with the air suit, you're dealing with your thoughts, your logic, information, that sort of air elemental. So again, be careful how you're thinking about a situation. We see here up on our top row, we see responsibility, we see burden, we see issue, right? Having to do with the daily grind, the struggle of your day-to-day reality. This is a heavy burden. Typically, it relates to the hearth fires. It relates to the home. You see kind of the teepee here. This person's back is bent, but they're walking towards that. The responsibilities that you're taking on are because you're trying to take care of your home and your family life. Now, 10 indicates a sense of completion, so it could be that these are behind you. In the position it's in, it's kind of moving towards the past tense, but it's been something that's been on your mind. You've been focusing on your responsibilities because you've had a lot of things going on. With this card, there's also a sense, I shouldn't have put this stuff in the plants, I suppose, but it's whatever. I'm trying to use my light in this room better. It's not really working out all that well, but I can't do the lamp and the space heater at the same time, and it's freezing up here. Anyhow, we've got the Strength card. Strength is related to the Leo suit. Doesn't have to specifically be a Leo, but this is about strength of inner character. So you've been coming from this period of time where you've been feeling burdened and having a lot of responsibility. There may be other options for you in how you're dealing. Tapping into that internal strength. Delegating. Sometimes, knowing which battle to fight is half the battle. You don't have to take on them all. Choose your battles wisely, and that can help you alleviate. I'm also feeling that for a lot of you, you may need to be delegating some of the responsibilities that you otherwise would do yourself. It may be better to ask or allow for your kids, your partner, whoever lives with you, to take on some of those responsibilities. Even if they don't do as well as you would do if you did it, it may not even matter in the long and short of it. People will get better at doing tasks the more practice they have with that. So be careful you're not overburdening yourself to take on somebody else's burdens. And then we see this energy of hearth fire. Again, that theme is mirrored from the responsibility card back here, where we had a sense of hearth fire issue. Strength and Leo, I will note, is associated with the heart chakra. So is the Eight of Wands hearth fire card. That's very much about heart chakra issues. So if you feel that you don't deserve to have your family help you with things, take on additional tasks and chores at home, or other types of responsibilities, that could be because you're having an issue with self-love. So self-love may be very important to examine at this point. You'll note that this cougar here, this mountain lion, is holding what looks like a bowl or a cup. The idea is it's about fulfilling yourself first, because once you have enough in your cup can runneth over, and you can provide for other people. But if we don't fill our own cup first, we don't have anything for anyone else. And that can create pain and resentment heart chakra issue, pain and resentment, loathing for those around us, even if we deny how angry we become at them. The denial of anger doesn't mean the absence of anger, and then we can have all kinds of issues. So be very careful that you're paying attention to your own needs as you're moving forward. Don't allow this sense of insecurity here to talk you out of your birthright for happiness. You'll notice that this arrow here, it may be a little bit low of the heart chakra, but it still can be coming in as that. I'm going to have to turn this plant because it's, well, maybe not right now. But anyway, I'm going to have to figure out this plant later. So don't talk yourself into that. Examine the issues of heart. Where have your heart issues come from in the past? Like, where have you learned that your needs and desires don't matter or don't count, or that they have to take a back seat to the needs and demands of everyone else? That all plays into this responsibility card. And all the things that you've been doing here. Don't break your back because you're trying to deal with these issues. Note that the part where her back is bent, or his or her back is bent the most, is just opposite the heart. But it's all heart chakra, right? So each of these cards is indicating the need for self-care, delegating responsibilities. Do not talk yourself out of that. Find that internal strength, right? Boundaries are important to set with other people. We're allowed, entitled. I strongly encourage you to set boundaries with other people. The fact is, if you, without boundaries, we would kill each other. I mean, it's a given, right? Imagine yourself on a road. You're driving down the street. Maybe it's usually a 3-lane road, and you've been on a road where they've just resurfaced, right? And they have no lines painted yet, and people are kind of all over. They have nowhere to go. They don't know how to drive on that. Usually I'm driving along thinking, "Come on, guys, it's not that hard to figure out. It's a 3-lane road, big deal." But the truth is, when we don't have those lines of boundary, those lines of distinction and differentiation, it becomes very, very confusing. We don't know where to go. Learning how to hear no, learning to speak no is some of the most amazing empowerment that you can do for yourself and for other people. We're going to hear no later in life. If it's your kids, they're going to hear no from their boss, from the college that they want to go to, from the teacher at school. They're going to hear no from their friends, parents. They're going to hear, we're all going to hear no for our entire lives. So we may as well learn how to hear it and how to be comfortable and how to accept that. And that's part of that experience. We teach others how to treat us. And part of the strength card too, and then I'll move on to some of these other cards here. Part of strength is that this isn't an act of physical violence that's going on. It's about you can be quiet and assertive at the same time. You can hold fast to your no without having to rise to a level of inappropriate. You don't have to yell at people. You don't have to spank your kids. You don't have to do whatever to assert your no in that. Right? There can be other ways to do that. Obviously, I can't get into a parental thing right now. But certainly seek assistance if you're not sure how to achieve some of the outcomes that you want, right, with that. Usually it's enough to withhold something that your kid likes or to apply something that they like. Very, very basic behaviorism to encourage participation from the family. But you may have to have some community meetings to figure out what that means. So don't be afraid to come into your power, because when you assert your power, you're modeling strong assertion to other people. It does not mean that you're taking their power away. You're just saying, look, this is where I end and you begin, and you're not allowed to cross over into that line. Oh, okay. Now, for those of you that have been going through your wheel is turning, right? This Wheel of Fortune card here indicates for us that the cycle is turning, that the fates play a hand. These three down here, these three figures are the fates, and they are weaving your future life, right? They have a role in that. You also have a role in your life, in the choices that you make. Just as we teach others how to treat us, sometimes we're not sure how our life is, or we're not positive the larger picture of our life. But we have to kind of look back at our life. We sort of have to look backwards to be able to see where we've been and find out what the direction is to that. And there can be that sense of blindness, like I don't really know where I'm going or what I'm doing. But, it's sometimes is easiest when we look back and reflect, and certainly take that time to do that. That's all part of it. Looking and seeing where we've gone, knowing that there's a balance to the things that we do, that there are things that are beyond our control. But this Wheel of Fortune card tends to be about good luck, fate taking a hand. If it's meant for you, it will happen. You will not miss the opportunities that are destined for you. That's what destiny means. Sometimes we can slow a process down, but eventually we will get to our destiny because it's just the way that it's supposed to be. So this is all part of that. But something is taking a hand in it. The fates are taking a hand in your future and what's going to be kind of playing out. Now, this Page of Wands here is called a stoat. A stoat is a mustelid, which is a member of the mink family. They're the musk-producing mammals, like minks and weasels and that sort of thing. Page of Wands is fire, so that can be kind of that Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy, but it tends to be some kind of passion that's coming into action. For some of you, if we're looking at a career thing, and I do want to bring in our Knight of Wands, which is Fox, this is a progression. Some kind of fate comes into play, and something that you've been feeling passionate about, that you've been wanting to get in motion in the way of either relationship, a new relationship, or it could be a new passionate start in your business, whatever life phase you're in right now. Fate is playing a hand, and you're seeing this develop. From the Page of Wands, the communication that's coming in, some kind of passion that you're putting into action, and the Knight is really the one that's got the energy to make it happen. So this is a progression. This is about something that's manifesting for you that you feel very passionate about, that has your fire energy up. Because again, that's what Wands is all about, fire energy. And Wheel of Fortune indicates that it's fated to happen. You guys have been patiently waiting. If I remember from your last reading that I did, something was delayed coming in. This looks to me exactly as though, I love this plant, but it's grown big, like even in the 2 weeks since the last reading. But anyhow, something that you've been passionate about is coming in. And there's no question about that. Now, the Knight of Wands there, the Fox, is kind of looking towards the rear. That, to me, has to do with the Wheel of Fortune, how we look back on our life and we see the patterns, like, oh, yeah. So there may be a little bit of that element as well that's coming in. And then, interestingly enough, we do have the Queen of Wands, but we'll get into that coming up here in a moment. Three of Cups, joy, celebration, right? These cranes, they're about, their mastery of the earth element, which is getting things started, the jots and tittles, the accounting, the bean counter type stuff. They're also water. They receive nutrition from the water in that they fish and they pull up their food from inside the water. That's why they have these long wading legs, but they can also fly. So they're a really great balance between those three elements there. Perfect to grace our Three of Cups card. Cups is water. That's about joy, emotion, celebration, spirit. What a happy card for those of you. You're celebrating because you've been taking on all these burdens and this responsibility, but fate is taking a hand in it. And whatever it is that you've been trying to do, to juggle, to balance, it is coming through for you. This stuff is happening. But because you're having expansion in this other area, it will be necessary for you to kind of set some chore charts or what have you at home, come up to some agreements with your partner or your roommate or whoever you're living with, to be sure that you can focus some of this attention on what's developing, what's blooming. On a really great note, we move from joy to balance energy. This is a wonderful card. This balance energy is yin and yang polarity. This is about giving birth to a new project, a new design. This could be for some of you a literal pregnancy. There's always that as well as a possibility. Especially when we have all these, Page of Wands, Knight of Wands energy. We got this Queen of Wands coming up here too. And Queen of Wands is a rabbit. And she's got her egg right here. So for some of you, it can be a literal pregnancy. So double down if you're not interested in having a child right now. But for a lot of you, it really is about getting that business off the ground. It's about the new relationship that's beginning and all the rest of that. And lots to celebrate about. This is, you finally made it through whatever it was that you were struggling with, and that you've been wanting to move forward. This is an excellent progression for so many of you. I do want to pull another card. This one is from the Animal Wise Tarot. There's just usually so much going on behind the scenes. Okay, wonderful. We have the 8 of 4-leggeds, which is the squirrel. Just 2 days ago, I was sitting in this very chair and looking out the window. There was this big fat squirrel all cozied up on a big branch outside my window. So squirrel, 8 of 4-leggeds. It's the earth suit, pentacles, like coins, and preparing for the future. I'll read this for you, but it is kind of long. Squirrels are members of the rodent family who are active throughout most of the day, scurrying about for food and digging holes in the earth to store and hide food for later times. Although squirrels are not signs of great monetary gain or prosperity, at this time its appearance serves as a strong reminder we are on the right track, laying the foundation and making the right preparations to enable us to succeed and prosper in the future. Squirrel reminds us to stay dedicated to our goals. If we persevere, we will succeed. There are 2 main types of squirrels, and both types are sociable, although neither like strange squirrels within their home environments. The red squirrels are the sentinels who chatter and scold loudly when strangers or intruders appear. This signals the presence of something different in the area to warn not only other squirrels, but also other animals as well. Because of this, squirrel reminds us to be alert and to persevere without allowing ourselves to be distracted. The gray squirrel is the most common and the most enthusiastic. They do not hibernate but build a nest, usually ball-shaped, for storing food and where it can survive comfortably throughout the winter. Again, squirrels are a reminder to prepare ourselves for possibilities in the future. All squirrels are very communicative with loud chatter, whether playing or sending out warnings. They also have a subtle body language, using their tails to communicate messages as well. When squirrel appears, it is a reminder to develop our communication skills because these must be an important part of our preparations. Again, this makes me think of before when we're talking about responsibility and strength and hearth fire, and taking that information to communicate to your family what your needs are and how they need to help chip in as you're beginning to get your new endeavor up and underway. Questions to ask. Are we looking for shortcuts or a fast food approach to success? Are we looking for the quick and easy? Are we not making proper preparations? Are we too active or too busy, manifesting workaholic energy? Are we not really planning for the future? Are we too erratic in our activities, running to and fro and not really accomplishing anything? Do we need to save at this time? Right? So these are some questions to ask, anytime that you come into squirrel energy, because they really do have that groundwork that they're laying, right? And that's what you've been seeing here. So it's kind of like when you take a few steps right now, it'll save you some steps in the future. There was an old saying, a stitch in time saves 9, meaning you notice a small tear, you sew it up right now because it'll take a stitch or 2 instead of having to redo the entire coat later on when it's lying in threads on the floor.